Sir Richard Branson has conquered both land and water, and now he's tackling the environment. He joined Ontario's Minister of the Environment today to launch a provocative new campaign to stop global warming.
To ask all Canadians to leg off and take action against global warming.
Yo, listen close out there. We only have 10 years.
We only have 10 years to reduce our emissions.
We only have 10 years to reduce our emissions, or we're screwed.
Screwed.
Turning off lights saves energy.
Turning off lights saves energy, so
Turn off your flicking lights.
turn off your flicking lights, you son of a bitch.
Turn them joints off.
British billionaire Richard Branson has teamed up with Ontario's Environment Minister and corporate sponsors, including Chum, to kick off a new initiative in the fight against global warming. Branson and his environmental team of crusaders have launched this new website. It's called flickoff.org to educate Canadians on the climate crisis. And the site's #1 tip is to flick off energy wasters. By doing that, you do your part for the planet.
Being part of a coalition with great partners like this will help motivate and empower Ontarians to take action. Why? Because the planet cannot wait.
The coalition is using the website, T-shirts, and a music festival later this summer to challenge all Canadians to reduce global warming. The group warns that unless greenhouse gases are dramatically reduced in the next 10 years, the environmental consequences will be catastrophic. Branson has promised a huge music festival to the Canadian community that does the most to cut greenhouse gas emissions.
Queen's Park teaming up today with one of the world's most famous businessmen for another green campaign. But we have to warn you here, the campaign's catchphrase may be telling us all to do something else.
Ontario Liberal Environment Minister Laurel Broughton is coming under fire for supporting a new ad campaign backed by British billionaire Sir Richard Branson.
Flick off Canada and flick off the rest of the world. Cheers.
The campaign encourages young people to, quote, flick off. The slogan's font is clearly designed to make the word flick look like a 4-letter word. The opposition Conservatives say it's an inappropriate way to educate young people about energy conservation. Broughton defends the campaign, saying it's a great way to reach out to a younger demographic and get them involved in fighting global warming.
A lot of fuss about the energy-saving campaign launched by Queen's Park. It says flick off, but at the risk of offending Bill Carroll here, let's show it to you again. There's the logo, and that's the problem you have because it looks too close like the other F word, Bill.
Yeah, we've been debating this, and I'm sorry I lost this debate. I think it's inappropriate even to show it again. We get the message, okay?
The more you tell people to flick off, the better you feel about the place you live.
Flick off.
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 When you leave your house in the morning, don't forget to flick off.
Flick off.
Flick off. Flick off.
The more you tell people to flick off, the best you feel about the place you live.
Flick off.
Flick off. Flick off.
Flick off.
Flick off.
When you leave your house in the morning, make sure you flick off.
Flick off.
Do I say it?
Yeah.
Flick off.
Flick off.
Flick off.
Flick off.
Do the world a favor and flick off.
And so I don't think there's ever been a better time for conservation. I don't think it's really a trend, though. I don't think it's anything that would go out of style.
We want to see a 100% renewable energy future here in Canada. Wouldn't that look beautiful?
It's going to happen because the people, you and me, and folks like us are going to put pressure on this government. We need a social movement to fight global warming.
You've got to get involved in these issues. You have to be attentive and you have to be accountable.
What does it take for the public to do to get politicians in Ottawa to act?
Flick off, man.
Flick off.
Flick off. Woo!
Flick off. Flick off.
I'm asking you to flick off.
Flick off.
Flick off.
And I'm just gonna flick off.
Flick off. Flick off.
Flick off.
Flick off.
We